Hey guys,
Hello, welcome back to Read the Manga, Season 2.
it's
It's
been,
been a long time.
yeah, it has been. And today's chapter, where we're going to talk about the manga, is Hungry Joker. Even though it hasn't been popular, it's been a long time since it came out, about 5 years ago to be exact.
Yeah, it's got quite a history. Also, if you're wondering where Kata is, he's kind of busy right now, but he should be back for the next episode of Read the Manga. So, anyway, so you read it, and tell me, does the artwork seem somewhat familiar to you?
Yeah, it does. It reminds me of Black Clover, which was before Hungry Joker started.
Yeah, because it is actually by the same guy who did Hungry Joker and Black Clover. It's the same guy. This was his original pitch to Shonen Jump 5 years ago, and it didn't do as well.
hmm Yeah. So we know that the chapters originally started from 0 to 24, and after that, the creator who made the Hungry Joker made Black Clover. And after Black Clover became successful artwork as well as being able to bring up a good story, it became popular to Shonen Jump as of this day.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a shame because I actually do like Hungry Joker for what it is. So let's talk about the story about Hungry Joker. You want to go into this?
Yes, it's about a boy named Hachi who cannot recall anything about his past except his name, or what happened, and what he's connected to is the black apple called the Newton, saying something about Eureka, mysteries, and other stuff. But apparently, monsters are going after this apple, wanting to use it for their own powers. And Hachi has an assistant who's helping him through a lot of checking on the autopsies, a lot of stuff. He's very good for being a scientist, and not only just that, every time he eats an apple, he uses the powers of gravity. For example, imagine if someone else has the power of gravity from the Marvel series.
Gravity from My Hero Academia.
Exactly. That's the
There you
one.
go. That's an example.
Yeah, that's a good example indeed. And apparently, in order to be able to find more than just one apple, there's got to be a couple items connected to the histories that might be lead on to how powers are able to work. And so far, the only thing I got onto is 5 chapters, which may not be perfect or anything, but I think it's good so far to start with. And with that in mind, he's very clever, knowing Haji. He's good at his skills, scientist abilities. He is very good when it comes to being how should I put this into words? It's just like he comes up with plans and all that in advance. He
You think he's more? Who do you think is better, Oscar, Asta or Hachi?
In my opinion, it would be Haji because he always thinks things ahead.
That's true. Asta, as much as a good shonen protagonist he is, he's not the smartest tool in the shed. But anyway, going back to what you're talking about, the magical items, they're all based off
Old,
on actual well-known scientists or
old histories for that matter, yes.
basically like the apple is basically Newton's law apple,
Yep, that's
and
the
all that
one.
kind of stuff. It gets really interesting, and throughout the story, you can definitely see how it sort of influenced Black Clover, like comedy wise, like throughout the story, especially with other characters that get introduced past chapter 5. The only thing that I kind of have a bit of a problem with it is not the mangaka's fault. It's mostly with Shonen Jump and how they run things. So if you don't know or read Bakuman, really, basically some of the newer manga that are released in Shonen Jump have to go through a popularity poll almost every week for every chapter. And if that manga isn't that popular for a certain amount of weeks, they tell the mangaka to eventually wrap it up and then end it. It's kind of a hard battle working in manga, especially when you're just starting out, because you're not gonna be like the next Ichijo Oda or Taibi Kubo or whatnot right out the back. So the story, what I'm saying here, the story does feel a little bit rushed, and it's kind of a shame because I was really getting into it.
hmm
So I think the best way I can say this is be aware of a Paramount ending at the very end of the series. That's just all I'm saying.
Yes, and there's also in the story of Hungry Jokers that these things are called White Jokers. Basically, they're kind of like forces of heroes of justices. In the Zero chapter at the beginning, they're the stereotype monsters or whatever they're called. And apparently, even weapons wouldn't be able to do against a thing on them. The White Jokers can be able to win up against those monsters. And if you were to unlock most of their powers, like their awakening, it's a possibility enter the state called the Hungry Joker by devouring those monsters. That happens in the zero chapter of the plot, but not in the actual story to be sure of yet.
Yeah, you know, well, it's just in terms of that, I think like we can go start talking about characters so far. So you only read only 5 chapters, which I expected you to read more.
Oh, come on. There was a lot of things going on. I couldn't
It's
help it.
only 24 chapters.
Look, in the next manga, I'll read all of it, okay?
Okay, because the next book I'm going to recommend you, it's only like 6 chapters so far, so it shouldn't take you too long.
Alright. Fair enough.
All right,
Anyways.
so let's talk about the characters so far. Since you already got to chapter 5, I'll at least go up to that far for you. So, what do you think of the main cast so far?
They're very good, and most of them feel like that they've changed over the time. Even though Hachi's assistant wanted to give after not being involved with Hachi, but Hachi insisted on being able to ask her to help her out through it all and through a lot of things. So she got good
Yeah,
character development on that.
yeah,
And
yeah. It's a pretty funny chapter with chapter 3. Like he goes out of his way, he goes over to her house and all that stuff, and like her mom is so nonchalant about it. Like, oh yeah, sure, you can take my daughter. Why not?
uh
Not.
huh,
And then, like the very end, she just brings in a straight up airplane near the freaking house.
using Hachi's ability of gravitation.
Yes, this series is as nuts as Black Clover can be. Um, on that, her system, yeah, pretty good. Hachi as a character, as a main protagonist, I quite enjoyed him quite a bit. He's not dumb. He's like kind of like focused on one thing, mostly science, but also is kind of funny at the same time. I do like him.
Yeah, so do I. And do you want to call it a wraps or want to keep going?
I don't want to call her up right yet. So, but overall, I say we have. I say overall, I think the manga is fine, but it's just very very short run. But if you're interested to see Black Clovers before Black Clover was a I would recommend it. So here's how that we do this. We give it something out of 10. Justin, so what do you give Hungry Joker for your first 5 chapters that you read?
9 out of 10.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty higher than you did the last time for most of the mangas we read. For me, I will give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. It only just for the ending just being pretty quick and paramount at the very end. But other than that, it's still good. I would recommend it if you can find it online somewhere. Since I highly doubt they will ever release it in the West or even on the Shonen Jump app.
Okay, that wraps it up for today.
Yeah, so see you guys next time for reading the manga with hopefully Keita and I will talk about the conclusion of Gal Gohan. See you guys next time.
All right,
Bye.
bye.